We Ukrainians are a people who love everything around us to be cozy and harmonious. Considering this, I have an extremely interesting device for review that helps maintain order and coziness from the company Dreame. And this, I remind you, is a company that manufactures cleaning robots and advanced cool vacuum cleaners. In other words, the company is known for its advanced robots and vacuum cleaners for indoor cleanliness. And this device helps to beautify your yard. Yes, this is the real Dreame A1 robotic lawnmower, and let's start this video about it. The robot's package is simply gigantic, which is not surprising. Inside there is a quick start guide, stakes for securing the robot's base to the ground at the installation site. This way, when the robot parks for charging, it won't move the base from its place. There is also a set of replacement blades and their mounts. Another such set is already installed on the robot itself. And of course, there is a huge instruction manual. Next, we have a power adapter for recharging. Additionally, there is a part of the robot's base with a wire for connection. And this is the brush for cleaning the eyes, or more precisely, the eye of the robot, and here is the robot itself. And at the very bottom of the box, the lower part of the base is hidden. There are guides here that help the robot park better for recharging. Another part with a long power cord is attached to this part using 2 screws and clips. On the robot itself, there is a cover on top that opens with a large stop button, so in an emergency, this button can be easily pressed even with a foot. And under the cover, there is a hidden display, 4 control buttons, and a rotary wheel with a press function for confirming selections. Through the color display and other control elements, you can even change some settings directly on the device, such as the height of the grass cut, the efficiency mode of the lawnmower, and the obstacle avoidance mode. As you can see, the Ukrainian language is not available yet, but Dreame updates their devices quite regularly, so the translation might appear a bit later. In the menu, you can even change the PIN code for access to the settings. Yes, the robot has some protection against external interference with the settings. Under the cover, there is also a QR code for connecting the robot to an app on an iPhone or Android smartphone, it doesn't matter. The robot itself has an understandable design. It has 2 large 1-wide-on wheels, which it uses both to move around and to turn and maneuver. The front wheels move freely. As you can see, the robot doesn't have a very high ground clearance. I was surprised, but the robot actually moves very confidently in space. Although I thought that controlling it with only 2 driving wheels would be less maneuverable, it turned out not to be the case. The robot precisely and confidently traces rather complex movement patterns on the lawn. The robot has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity, and it is added quite easily and quickly in the official app. It takes its place among the other devices from the company there. To start using it, the user needs to create a map. This is done by the robot driving around the perimeter of the area. It's somewhat like controlling a toy car with a remote control. But in our case, the remote control is a smartphone with an app. And once again, I would like to compliment the precision of the robot's movements, because just as I very poorly drew the edges of the first part of the lawn in the app, the robot moved just as poorly, repeating my movements while creating the map along the edges of the zone. In the app, you can create several zones on your property, and for the robot to move freely between them, you need to create a virtual path called Path. This is a proven path that the robot can definitely follow to move from one zone to another. This is especially important if they are located quite far from each other. After creating the map, you can also create no-go zones, which are areas where the robot should not enter. These can be various obstacles such as pools, garden beds, holes, or sand and more. In my case, it's a tree. And then the most interesting part begins, the actual grass trimming. The robot operates on a very convenient principle. It simply cuts the grass, chops it up, and then scatters it around. Therefore, firstly, you don't need to think about where to dispose of the cut grass. And secondly, the mulching process happens immediately. This means the soil is nourished and protected from drying out and overheating. At first, out of extra caution, I raised the blades too high, and after the first couple of passes I didn't even notice a difference and wondered what was going on. But as soon as I lowered the blades, the excellent result became visible. Another interesting discovery is that the robotic lawnmower works almost silently. I personally really like this because I used a manual electric mower, and even it is quite loud. In the case of the Dreame A1, you can barely hear the grass being cut under the robot, and the sound of the electric motors is also almost inaudible during operation. The robot moves around the space with the help of this large eye, which is the proprietary Omni Sence 3D system. Thanks to it, the robot can navigate in space very far, approximately up to 70 meters around. This system can see. In the video, you can clearly see how this eye scans the surrounding space, although you can't see such lights in real life. The robot mows the area in a snake-like pattern. It even divides the area as needed depending on the obstacles present. The robot handles obstacles incredibly precisely, avoiding them effectively. Both the app and the robot offer various types of obstacle management settings, but I was personally impressed that the robot remembered the spot in the middle of the lawn where it missed. Some grass remained uncut because I was running around and filming it too closely while it was working. It perceived me and the camera as an obstacle and missed a small area, so at the end of its task, the robot returned and independently cleaned up the remaining grass. So, it remembered the missed spots and corrected this flaw. Therefore, the navigation works really well here, and I have personally confirmed this. I was also very curious about what the robot would do with the grass clippings along the edges of the lawn, as it leaves approximately a 10-centimeter gap during the main mowing along the edges. So at the very end, it simply drives along the edge of the map and cleans up the remaining grass. And even this turned out to be well thought out by the manufacturer. So the robot mowed 60 square meters of lawn in 37 minutes, using 29% of its charge. And later I roughly estimated that when fully charged, our robot would be able to tidy up the entire area on a single charge. But even if the battery runs out in the middle of a task, the robot will automatically return to the base for charging and resume the task later. In the app, we see that the robot can be controlled via Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or mobile network. For the latter, a special module is required, and it is not included with the robot. You can choose from 3 grass cutting modes. This includes a full trim of all areas, edge trimming, and trimming of a selected zone. In the app, you can create an automatic work schedule for every day if you wish. Here, you can manage the map, set up, add, and modify zones and obstacles, and you can even create a 3D map if desired. Operating mode, type of movement across the area, cutting height, distance, obstacle avoidance. You can adjust the seating direction. By default, the robot automatically assigns zones. For example, it mowed the first zone in horizontal lines, while for the other zone, it chose diagonal stripes. Of course, the robot can even be locked to prevent access by children. In the more advanced settings, you can find a rain protection feature. Automatically stops working during rain and resumes 3 hours after it ends. That's the principle. Frost protection. Stops working at temperatures below 6 degrees Celsius. Just like with Dreame vacuum robots, there is a do not disturb mode here, for example during late evening hours. Another important topic is the wear and tear of consumables and maintenance. In the app, you can see if the blades and the brush that cleans the sensor need to be replaced. Our all-seeing eye. And here you can see the need for robot maintenance. If necessary, it can even be rinsed with water, but never with a high-pressure washer. By the way, I personally was sure that after using it, I would have to clean the bottom and maybe even wash it. But in reality, it turned out to be relatively clean and did not require any maintenance after mowing more than 130 square meters. So let's briefly go over the pros and cons of such a device once again. The pros are maximum automation, a cool approach to mowing that nourishes and protects the soil, and you don't have to worry about getting rid of grass clippings. Well, personally, I was easily impressed. For me, it's just a little bit of real magic when, in a relatively short period of time, all the grass on the lawn is perfectly trimmed, and all I had to do manually was take the robot and drive it around the edges of the area so it could create a map. Among the drawbacks, one can mention the low ground clearance. If your area was initially overgrown and the grass, for example, has grown to a height of 10 centimeters or more, you will first need to cut it with a manual mower. After that, the robot will be able to maintain the desired condition automatically. And the second point is that this model has a single cutting disc, which makes it more suitable for small to medium-sized areas. For example, according to the manufacturer, the robot will mow 1/4 of a hectare in about a day, and it will cover a full hectare in a complete day.